So I'll be presenting the screen now. Can you see the screen? Hello? Are you able to see the screen? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Welcome up. Hello? Hello? Okay, okay. So yesterday we started embedded system development environment. Do you remember this? Embedded system development environment. So what are the components that we need to develop an embedded system? That is what is discussed in this section. That is embedded system development environment. So there are several components for that constitute this development environment, and basically we can say there are around 7 components that we usually come across when we develop an embedded system, and the environment consists of these 7 components. And the first component is a development computer. We call it as a PC, or it can be a host, and this acts as the heart of the development environment. Is the heart of the development environment, and we can I just show you the picture of the development environment. Can you see the picture? Hello. So this is the development environment. So anyway, you may not be able to draw this picture, but you can just provide the components that make up the environment. So there are around 7 components that make up the environment, and the PC here, it forms the heart of the development environment, and it is the PC that controls, communicates with all other devices, and soon you need a PC to develop the firmware, and once we develop the firmware inside the PC, you can transfer it into the target board. And we have seen how we can transfer the firmware into the target board. There are several mechanisms or techniques for transferring the firmware inside the PC into your target board. And we had studied around 3 techniques for integrating firmware in the previous section. That is in system programming, in application programming, then use of factory program chip and out of circuit programming. And these are the techniques by which you can transfer the firmware into the target board. So anyway, these are the components that make up the system, and we have the PC acting as the main component of the development environment. And then after the PC, you have the PC tag or the host. It is the heart of the development environment. Then you have the IDE tool. IDE is Integrated Development Environment Tool for embedded firmware development and debugging. To develop the firmware and to debug the firmware, you have an IDE tool. And this IDE tool, it is shown in this picture. That is here.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Till where did you hear? Did you see the picture? കേട്ടാ? IDE tool കേട്ടോ? No. So, okay. So can you see the picture now? Somebody can unmute and answer. I can't see your messages. I can't view your chat messages. Somebody can unmute and answer. Can you see the picture? Hello? 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 Amrita, can you see the picture?
No, ഇല്ല മിസ്സേ.
പറ്റുന്നില്ല?
ഇല്ല, സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ഓൺ അല്ലല്ലോ.
അത് സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയറിംഗ് പോയില്ല.
ഇപ്പൊ ഓക്കെ ആണ് മിസ്.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. ഇപ്പൊ കാണാലോ. Okay. So we were speaking about the main components that make up the IDE, the development environment. The first one is the PC, and it is the most important component for developing embedded firmware. And after the PC, as I said earlier, you have the PC, which is the heart of the development environment. The second component is the IDE tool, and this IDE tool, it comes in a CD, and this IDE, it helps for firmware development and debugging. And the CD, once you install it into your computer, you get a utility program running on the computer, and using that utility program, you will be able to run the firmware and debug the firmware. Okay, then you have another component called the EDA tool. EDA tool, it is used for automated development of hardware design. You can automate the hardware design using EDA tool. EDA tool is electronic design automation tool. EDA is electronic design automation tool. And using the EDA tool, you can design the hardware components of the system. So you have two CDs, two utility programs. One utility program is for designing the firmware, and another utility program is for designing the hardware. Both comes in a CD. It can be purchased from vendors, and then once you install it, you can develop firmware as well as hardware inside your PC. Okay. Then the next component that is needed is an hardware emulator, or an emulator hardware for debugging the target board. Emulator hardware, it is shown here. There is a hardware in between the PC, and this is the target board. You can see a board here, and in between the PC and the target board, there is an emulator hardware. And this emulator hardware, it can be used for debugging the target board, and this acts. You can use this emulator to emulate all the functions of the target board, and can be used instead of the target board in order to check the functionalities that has been built in the PC. Now, if you connect this emulator to your PC, you can this emulator will act as the target board. Like, it substitutes all functionalities of the target board, and it helps you to debug the target board, whether to check whether all functionalities that has been built in your firmware is functioning on the target board. Okay. Then you have the signal source. Now, the signal source, you can see in the picture, the signal source can be a function generator, and this function generator, it develops input signals for the target board. So using once as it receives signals, the target board functions according to the signals received from the signal source or the function generator. To provide signal inputs to the target board, the function generator is used. And then to debug the target board, hardware debugging tools are used. So this is the hardware part of the embedded product, And this to debug the hardware product, you have to debug this target board, you have hardware debugging tools like multimeter, then logic analyzer or a CROs, etc. for debugging the target board. Okay. So after EDA, there is an emulator hardware for emulating the hardware for which can be used instead of the target board for debugging the target board. Then you have signal source like the function generator, which provides input to the target board. It provides signals to the target board. And then you have the target hardware debugging tools. These are the target hardware debugging tools. It includes the digital CROs, then a multimeter, the logic analyzer. It is for debugging the hardware unit. And then finally you have the entire target hardware, and the target hardware is the board, the PCB board on which we are going to embed all the necessary units. That is, you will have the microcontroller or the microprocessor embedded in the target board, and we are connecting all the devices, and we are going to program this target board, and in order to embed the firmware from the PC into the target board to develop the final product. So these are the main components that make up the development environment. So hope you could hear all the components. So components of an embedded system development environment, this was a 4 marks question. So the development environment consists of a development computer or which is a PC, or it acts as a host computer, and which is the heart of the development environment. Then you have the IDE tool, then IDE tool, then you have the EDA tool. So this is the first component, the PC. Then you have the IDE tool for firmware development, EDA tool for automating the hardware design. Then you have the emulator, which acts, which can be used for debugging the target board. Then you have the signal source or the function generator that provides input signals to the target board. And to debug the target board, you have various devices like the multimeter, the logic analyzer, or digital CROs. These are all together, we call it as hardware debugging tools. And once we have developed the firmware inside the PC, the corresponding program is fabricated on a PCB chip, and this file should be given to the vendors for developing for PCB fabrication. So these are the main components of the embedded system development environment. And to communicate with these devices, there are various sockets or ports. Here, the emulator is connected to the USB of the serial port, and then here also there are pins or the JTAG. JTAG is the protocol that we use for communication. So they can be connected to JTAG pin in order to embed the firmware into the target board, or it acts as the emulator for the target board. Hello, am I audible to you? Hello. Okay, so hope you heard the components that make up the environment, the embedded firmware, embedded product development environment. Can you say what are the components? What are the main components that make up embedded system development environment? It's a 4 marks question. Very easy to learn. Just remember the 7 components. Can anyone say what are the components? Yes, you have the IDE tool. What is the purpose of IDE tool? What is the purpose of IDE tool? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Yes, it is for developing firmware, developing and debugging the firmware. IDE tool is for developing and debugging the firmware. Then you have the EDA tool. These are 2 utility programs that comes in a CD. We have to install it into a main component of the environment, which is the main component, the first component that should come to your mind when we write this question is the PC, the development PC. It is the PC that helps us to do all the work. So there is a host or a PC. First of all, you should say there is a PC or a host machine, and into this machine we can install the IDE tool, the EDA tool. You can connect the emulator, and debugging hardware and firmware. Okay, so I had said the first component was the PC or the host. Then you have the IDE tool for embedded firmware development and debugging. Then you have the EDA tool for hardware automation for designing the hardware. Then you have the emulator for debugging the target board. Then there is a function generator for giving input signals to the target board. Then to debug the target board, you have a collection of equipments. It can be either a CRO, a logic analyzer, or a multimeter, which can be used to debug the target board. So these are the components. Can anyone repeat it once again, or you can just type it in the chat box? The 7 components that make up the IDE. Hello? What are the 7 components? Okay, there is a host or a PC, IDE tool, EDA tool, then the signal source, target hardware debugging tool, then the target hardware. Yes, you need a target hardware, and we have to debug the target hardware. You have the target hardware debugging tools. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear to you? So this was the first component, the development PC or the host. Then you have the IDE second component. Third component was EDA. Then you have the emulator for debugging the target hardware. This is the target hardware. Then you have a function generator for giving input signals to the target hardware. And there is a set of equipments for debugging the target hardware. Either you can use multimeter or logic analyzer, or CROs can be used for debugging the target hardware. So these are the components that make up the IDE. Okay, so these IDE and EDA, they come as CDs and we purchase it from vendors, and they can be either free or license copies. Now, next we are into IDE. What is an IDE? What are the different types? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, welcome. Okay, so now we are going to IDE. That is, what is an IDE, or integrated development environment? So you might have heard of IDEs earlier. Some of you might have worked on IDEs. That is, on this IDE, you get a lot of tools that facilitates you to, that enables you to write and debug your programs. Like if you had worked with Visual C++ or VB, Visual Basic and all, it provides us an IDE, or MATLAB, etc. There are many IDEs. They provide us all the tools for development. So programming is easier. We can just drag and drop the tools provided by the IDE and write our code in corresponding those tools. So it is easier for us to program using IDEs, and these IDEs, they provide support for programming the software or any if it is embedded or other software systems, IDEs provide act as a tool for supporting the programming program developer support. It supports program development easier. You can do it easily with IDEs. So it is an integrated environment for developing as well as debugging the target processor specific embedded firmware. So when we come to embedded system, we have to use the IDE corresponding to the target processor for which we are going to develop the embedded firmware. So only those IDEs corresponding to the processor will support the firmware that we are writing. The software programs that we write into the IDE depends on the target processor that we are going to program. And this IDE, it consists of the text editor. Now, these are the components of IDE. Yeah, before we said the components of development environment, now here we are going to discuss about the different parts of an or components that make up an IDE. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the components that make up an IDE. We said IDE forms a part of the development environment, and now we are going to discuss in detail about the IDE because it is through this IDE we develop the firmware, we debug the firmware, and once the firmware is developed, we can be transferred into the target board. So IDE has several components. Now, first of all, you have a text editor or the source code editor. You call it as a source code editor or a text editor. So this text editor helps us to write the code. Like in C or C++, you have editors. Turbo C, you open the C editor and you write the code. If it is Python or Java, we can use any editors, like even Notepad or WordPad can be used for writing code. And here also in IDE also, the corresponding to each IDE, there will be a text editor, or you call it as a source code editor for writing the code. Then you need a cross compiler for earlier we discussed about cross compilers, and cross compilers are needed because this firmware that you're going to develop is developed on a PC. You're going to write the firmware and you're debugging it on a PC. And once you're debugging your firmware on your PC, you're transferring it into another target board where there is another processor. So the compiler in which we are running in the PC should compile code for the processor that is on the target board. So that compiler which generates code for another processor which is embedded in the target board is called the cross compiler. Only with the help of a cross compiler we will be able to debug the firmware. So cross compiler, we had said earlier, it is a cross compiler. It is a type of compiler which compiles the high level language, generates a code which can run on another processor. So in this figure, you can see the IDE will be running on the host machine. There will be a processor for the host machine, and this cross compiler will be running on the IDE, and this cross compiler generates a code or an object code which has to be run on the target board where there is another processor. So the cross compiler should generate the code that can run on another processor, and such compilers that generate code runs on one processor but generates code on another processor is called a cross compiler. So the IDE should have a cross compiler, only then we can transfer the firmware to the target board where there is another processor which needs to execute the object code generated by the cross compiler. Okay, so you need a cross compiler which runs on the PC or the host machine, and this cross compiler generates a code for the processor that is embedded in the target board, the processor that is in the target board. So the firmware that we are developing or the IDE that we are using should support the target processor code. It depends on the target processor that we are going to use. Then the next component, so the cross compiler, it is for cross-platform development, because we say it is cross-platform development because we are developing on our PC and then we are transferring it into the target board where there is another processor which needs to run the object code. And also the compiler is for same platform development, and there is a cross compiler for cross-platform development. Then you need a linker, because all these programs we had said earlier that there should be a linker program to link the codes. If we are developing it in modules, they need to be linked to memory addresses. Then there is a debugger for debugging the firmware that we had written. So an IDE, the most important components of the IDE include a text editor or a source code editor for writing the code. Then you need a cross compiler for cross platform development, and a compiler for the same platform development. That is, if you are running on the same machine, then you need a compiler. If you're going to run it on a different machine, then you need a cross compiler. Then there is a linker for linking the different modules of your program, and then there is a debugger for checking errors or bugs in your program. So these are the components of an IDE. So what are the components of an IDE? This is also a university question. What are the components of an IDE? Hello? Can anyone see? What are the components of an IDE? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. Text editor. Text editor. There is a cross compiler. Text editor, linker, debugger, and there is one more. Jitendra said only three components of the IDE: linker, debugger, text editor, and there is a cross compiler. A cross compiler is very important, because only this cross compiler is a program that generates code that can be run on the target processor. So cross compiler, yes. So these are the four components of an IDE. The text editor for writing the firmware. Just like if you want to write a program, you need to type it somewhere. So there is a text editor in the IDE for typing in the code, the firmware. Then there is the debugger for debugging the code that you had written, linker for linking different modules of your code, and then there is the compiler, which compiles the code and generates an object code which can be run on the target processor, because target processor is there on the target code. So this PC, the program that you're writing in your IDE, should be transferred to the target board. So for the target processor to execute the program that you had written in your PC, it should be converted into a format that is supported by the target processor. So to convert it into another processor's code, you need a cross compiler. So cross compiler is for cross platform support program development. Is it clear? Hope you understood. Hello? Is it clear? Okay, okay, Ashi. Okay. So now we are coming to what are I said the different components. These are the different components of IDE. Now, what are the different types of IDEs? There are mainly two types of IDEs. There are two types of IDEs. One is the command line based IDEs. Another is the GUI based IDEs. So there are two types of IDEs. One is command line based IDEs, and the second is the GUI based IDEs. Have you heard of command line based IDEs? Command line. What is a command line? Have you heard of command line arguments in C? Command line. Hello? Okay, what do you mean by command line? So it's a command, through command lines we can give in only commands. We have to by heart all the commands, like if you've used DOS or Linux. In Linux and all, if you go to the terminal, you are just giving in the commands, and then you are getting the output based on the command that you have written. That is, you have changed directory, made directory, etc. These are the commands you've given, and based on the commands, you can debug the program. So if you are just using commands on the terminal, then it is called a command line. And here IDE also, there are two types of IDEs. One is the command line IDEs, where you can develop firmware using commands only. You can just type in commands. There is no graphical user interface, there is no drag and drop facility. You are just giving in commands and writing the code. And that is known as command line IDEs. And the second one is, so it includes less GUI, command line based IDEs. It includes less GUI support. An example is given here, the Turbo C IDE. You might have seen the Turbo C IDE, like it is it just comes as a prompt, and you have to type in the commands that you need to run, like the command that we for example, for Java, for compiling Java, you write a Java C file name .java, etc. These are the commands that you give in through the command line. So you have to remember the commands, and you have to understand the commands well, and type in the commands through the IDEs. And such IDEs are called command line based IDEs. An example for embedded development here is the Turbo C IDE for C or C++ application development, and here it supports 8086 processors. And to develop code for 80 processors on Windows platform, you have the Turbo C IDE. It supports both C or C++ application, and it is a generic IDE with a command line interface. You just get you have to give in commands through the command prompt. And this is this Turbo C IDE, that's a Turbo C IDE for C++ or C application development. And this IDE, it generates code for 86 processes, 86 family of processes. Then you have the GUI based IDEs. GUI based IDEs, they provide a visual development environment. You can just see the tools that you need to use. So if you want to debug, just click a debug button, or to run a program, you just need to click the run button, etc. You can use your mouse to do all the operations that you need, and you can easily without any commands, you can easily debug, run and debug your programs. So it provides visual development environment, and yeah, with mouse click support. It provides mouse click support for each action that you're using. Using your mouse, you can drag and drop tools into your environment, and you can, after typing in the code, you can use your mouse to run the program for debugging the program, etc. Okay, so GUI based IDs, they use mouse click support for each action, and they are called visual IDs. The GUI based IDs are called visual IDEs. And this visual IDEs, examples of visual IDEs include Microsoft Visual Studio for VC++, then the VB programs, NetBeans, and Eclipse. Eclipse is a tool, it's an open source which supports many processes. So these are the GUI based IDEs. So, hello. What are the different types of IDEs? What are the different types of IDEs we have discussed? Okay, command line based IDEs and GUI based IDEs. Okay. So what is command line based IDEs? What is command line based IDEs? I get response from very few people, and they are responding always. What about others? Are you listening? So what are command line based IDs? So it includes, it does not include GI support, and you are giving in commands. Command line IDs, we use commands for running and debugging of programs. And GUI based IDs, it provides a visual environment, and they are also called visual IDs, and they use mouse click support for each action. That is, GUI based IDs use mouse click support for each action, whereas command line IDs, they use commands for each action. Now we are going to IDs that support embedded firmware development. So what are the different IDs that are generally used for embedded firmware development? Here we have given a few examples. There was once a question to write an example for an IDE. So you should study, at least study one or two examples from this. Give an example of an IDE. What is an IDE? What are the different types of IDEs? Give an example. So you should know at least one example among these. Study all, it's better to write at least one or two. Okay, so IDE for embedded firmware development. So it is different from the generic IDEs, because generic IDEs, they support high-level languages only. But for firmware development, you need IDEs that support embedded firmware development, not like the high-level languages. You need the cross compiler for the IDE should support the cross compilers. Should have a cross compiler for cross platform development. So it is not like generic IDEs. IDEs that are used for embedded firmware development is different from the IDEs for high level languages. So that is used for
break.
Hello. Hello.
മിസ് ബ്രേക്കായി.
കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല?
12:15 മിസ്സേ.
12:20 അല്ലല്ലേ? 12:10 ആണല്ലേ? ഓക്കെ. അറ്റൻഡൻസ് പറഞ്ഞോ. Number 1. Number 1.
കറണ്ട് ഇപ്പൊ ഇല്ല നമ്മളെ അഭിലാഷനെ.
കേട്ടില്ല.
കറണ്ട് ഇല്ല നമ്മുടെ ബാറ്ററി ഒന്നും.
ഓക്കെ. നമ്പർ 1 ആണോ? 1ന്റെ കേസ് ആണോ?
1 അഭിലാഷ്.
അഭിലാഷ്. ഓക്കെ. അടുത്ത 2. ഓക്കെ. 5. 6. 6 ഉണ്ടോ? 6 absent. 7 Arjun. 8 Atul present. Number 11. Okay. Number 12. Number 13. Number 14. Number 16. Number 17. 18. 20. Number 20. Number 20 ഇല്ല. 22. Okay, 20 present. 22. Number 22. 22 absent. 23. Okay, 24. 26. 27. 27. Sriraj. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. Didina present. Didina 32. Didina ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ, ആൻസർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ. ഹരിത. ഓക്കെ. അമൽ സന്തോഷ്. ഓക്കെ. 6 and 22 absent. Number 6 and 22. Anushree and Sharath PV. Okay, thank you. Okay, Didina present and okay, Didina present it.